Hot take, I don't like questing in WoW without a quest helper. And this is something that obviously we covered in a video before, but to me it was kind of like, I thought, okay, well, I responded in the... No, it was entirely, I responded and went to bed and fell asleep all happy knowing I had a response in the morning. But it was this where it's like, yeah, okay, let's think about this for a second. Let's think about this, because you don't want to say, you're wrong. Well, okay, I wanted to, but that's not the right thing to say. Now, there's a difference. There's a difference between what I want and what I do. So there's a couple different... This is what I kind of worked out thinking about it, right? There's type 1 questing. All my own nomenclature. Where
the old school.
Yeah, the old school style where you have to read text, you have to figure everything out. Not everything out, you just have to do it like sometimes. And then occasionally there's like more spatial reasoning stuff where sometimes a quest in the old days would say, go to location name. That's to the north. Kill mobs. And then you would go. And it would be pretty easy, it'd be pretty obvious. And then there's other times where it's, hey, take the second path to the left down here. I'm thinking of the specific place in Ashenvale where the direction is literally like, oh, I don't know where that is. Oh, okay. Find the, like, I think it was like a table and a chair or something, and then take the second left after that. And that was like a little bit of spatial reasoning, but that was very different from auto run, close my eyes, wait for a couple minutes, open my eyes, oh, there I am. There's a little bit of puzzle solving, and that came with like the slow methodical quests. Questing felt longer. You'd more kind of, oh, am I doing the right thing? Oh, am I going the right place? You had a lot more of that, and they felt a little bit more like adventures. And that had its big upsides, but it also had its very big downsides because they were slow. They were sometimes confusing. People wanted to get to the end of the quest chain for the rewards from it, and the easiest way to do that, because it's an MMO and you kind of want to keep up your friends, was I'm going to go and find out. I need a third-party information source because it's taking me too long and too much effort to solve these puzzles and think about this stuff and come to a conclusion of where to go. And there's even a couple times where playing DBC Classic, I was like, oh, this is actually really confusing, like really confusingly written. Maybe it's not maybe it's not always the best in terms of detail, but it kind of got the job done. And that was type 1.
Yeah.
But then type 2 is modern questing, which is quest tracker. It's Azeroth autopilot. It's questy. It's I'm just going to fucking enter this state of flow. I'm going to become one with my keyboard and mouse, and I'm going to clear an entire map of quest markers without even realizing I'm doing it. And I'm going to come out of this trance state feeling rejuvenated, alive, and full of artifact power or gold and experience. And that's the stuff where you just run, you walk stuff everywhere, you just go, you know where it is, you just go there immediately, it is just bang, 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 bang. It's fast, it's frictionless, and it's good.
Yeah, cata questing, like a lot of people, they'll still enjoy taking their characters through a few old cata zones. Yeah,
and I think that stuff is like really, really very, there's a good part to it. Yeah. Because I generally would vilify it by default because I'm trying to talk about the good parts of the other thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Without addressing the cons of it. And this is the thing where those are two types of quests. Obviously, we've moved towards one. And then I was thinking, how do you solve this problem? How do you put quests in the game that people won't just go, I'm not reading anything. Fuck you. Give me the reward. And the answer's pretty obvious. Don't put a reward at it at all.
Whoa.
Which, to me, comes to understanding the types. And type 1 quests you want people to fully engage of their own free will and have the fun with it.
Yeah.
Type 2 are the ones people just nuke to get content, whatever else. So to me, I think it's like the type 1 stuff has to be all horizontal. If you want Wrath TBC classic vanilla questing, where you're like the Morrowind style of, why do I have to read half a book to know where I'm going? If you want that, then you have to do it in the perspective of, this is an opt-in experience.
Yeah.
This is content that you don't have to do, because then everyone will just nuke through it. Because the whole point is like leveling, and this is why I think leveling shouldn't exist in World of Warcraft in the way it does now, is because everyone is incentivized to fucking nuke it to get to the end game. And that's what happens every expansion launch. You don't read any quests because you have to go super fast.
You're saying it would be better if just there was lots of content.
Yeah.
And that content, free from the shackles of the leveling experience, gets to be tailored in whatever way makes it best.
Like Suramar.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it.
That is exactly where you need more Suramar.
There's a vilifying of the Type 1 that happens that I can't understand, where the Type 1 was just literally done in a more clunky age, a more clunky era. It's possible to do really good Type 1.
Exceptionally.
It's possible to, do Type 1 without even having quests, more of an Elden Ring style.
Yeah.
It's possible to do all of that. It just takes a lot of craft and finesse. So, like, what you had in those older expansions is by no means the best version of that kind of questing.
Yeah.
Not at all. We would not claim that. We would say that, like, as soon as you throw a quest tracker in, that changes how you write quests, changes how you write dialogue, perhaps even starts to change how you design the quests and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of just changes up the experience.
Yeah. But Type 1 requires more money to make. Yes, but it's good content. Ideally, that's the point. The whole point is this will be content that you make that people will enjoy. And then the other point I had to talk about, which was FF14 is Type 2, and I saw someone highlight it in chat as well, because it's very much quest marker. Go to the orange circle on the map, click the things, sort it out, get it done, no time whatsoever. But the difference is, and actually there's a little bit of quest text lost in that game because there's a lot of nice things in the quest dialogue, but it's like quest log stuff, which is intended to be kind of not important. Wherever they go, we have to tell you a story and tell you dialogue, they present it in a very different way. They present it in easier to consume dialogue in the little quest box that you obviously you can skip it, but like it's a lot more enjoyable in the way it's done. They basically make that part of it more fun. So the Type 2 questing is still there in the game. It's a lot less. I will say the introduction of like the dialogue click-throughs and also the voice acting sometimes for replacement for having to read. That's a really good point that people keep bringing up. If they voice acted, then people wouldn't have to stop to read. They could voice act while they walk and stuff like that, and they wouldn't. Audiobooks versus books. People are more likely to listen to an audiobook today anyway. So I think that's the thing, and that's really stuff that makes tremendous sense. And FF14 also, all of the world building and sense that you got in vanilla through quest text, in TBC through quest text, and in Wrath through quest text, all that stuff that you got that way, you get in FF14 through the dialogue, through the story that's being outplayed. And that's the thing with Shadowlands. The core story did absolutely fuck all for building the sense of Shadowlands. It tried sometimes, but largely failed. A lot of that was relegated to side quests. And the side quests were just, I need to get some XP to level up for a lot of people. They didn't have the stop and talk moments quite as often. They did sometimes for like the climaxes, but not for the build up. So whenever people saw the fairy put on the mask and get mind controlled, I imagine a lot of people went, what the fuck's happening? I don't understand. But that's because only one point of that was that little nice way of delivering stuff, as opposed to the whole thing. Whereas FF14 makes sure to bake all of that in. So that's kind of the lesson World of Warcraft could reasonably learn from that, which is we need to use all of, because we basically understand that you're doing Type 2 questing and implement all the techniques you need for Type 2 questing to do the same as Type 1 did back in the day. More expensively, of course, but in a way that fits gaming experiences now a little bit better and desires. And also then you get all the freedom to make, hey, here's the Covenant Sanctum feature of Dragonflight, even though they're not Covenant and stuff. Here's the fucking 40,000 puzzle quests. And I think it would be nicer if those were quests instead of not quests like they currently are, because there are puzzles in the game. But they're not often seen as content because they're not framed as it. So there's maybe a world where that happens.
Yeah, they could get more out of what they make.
Yeah, I think that's there's a lot of like super small wins here that could be fucking excellent for the health of basically any game that learns this stuff. It's very, very interesting to think about, but yeah.
So yeah, it's like you can totally see how Blizzard got in this situation. You can see the pros and the cons on both sides. Like, the thing is, for the Type 2 quests, they can work in World of Warcraft whenever there are higher production values happening outside of the quest text. That's the thing. But that's just more expensive to do. Like, if you want the big set pieces, the voice dialogue, the characters, like, that can totally work with the Type 2. And maybe Type 2 is actually better for executing in those large set pieces.
Easy, yeah, 100%, yeah.
It's just having, like, a big old mixture of both, and kind of, how do you just get that sense of adventure back into the game in a way that doesn't confuse players between different types of quest design? This was interesting. So, Questing, who knows? I suppose certainly a timeline where WoW just doesn't have leveling, or at least has leveling up to a certain level, and then there's no more, and new expansions just add content and stuff. Because, of course, that's what Guild Wars 2 does and has had some success with that. Maybe in a situation like that, the Blizzard team would be a bit more freed up to, to do things a bit different with questing.
Yep. The other thing I wanted to say on this is just alts. So much of this problem came from alts, where people were like wanted to do the same because quests is higher level. So you're doing them again. You want to optimize, so you build tools to optimize. So you build power leveling tools, you build speed leveling tools, you use Azeroth autopilot, and there you go. So a way to stop this, I guess this attitude towards quests would be to just fucking change how alts work. FF14, I've never done a quest. I've never done a quest twice. I didn't want to do twice.
That's big.
Because I don't have any alts and I just level up through other content. I don't have to do shit I don't want to do. I mean, I do, because I have to do dungeons. If I fucking see the area again, I'm going to go mental. But, at least that was a dungeon. I could kind of go through it and that was gameplay, as opposed to reading quests and going through stuff. And that's where alternate ways to level alts would be very nice. There's none of that early on, and that's the problem when you want to make sure it's alts only. Instead of, hey, you can level up without playing a quest, new player. That'll be fun, we promise. But it's even like the problem with the Threads of Fate system, because that was very clearly like it worked, but it was a little bit undercooked.
Could have been good if it wasn't done in such a short amount of time. It's
also like just World Quest time. So they maybe need to have a better way of content to make that. Also, the fact you can't repeatedly do Torghast for XP and it's daily is fucking insane.
I don't understand that at all.
Yeah. The other thing was there's some other point I wanted to make with that. I can't remember. It was just find some way to make people not do quests to level up, because then if you make people do quests they don't want to do, they're not going to like doing quests in the future. And in their head it's going to be, quests bad.
And then once that takes root, it's so hard to get them to like quests again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yep.
Quests. Maybe one day we'll work it out. It'll be very interesting to see what Dragonflight actually does with quests.
Yep, absolutely.
And like if they try anything new.